Relax for a moment. Grab a coffee or tea or whatever helps you slow down just enough to listen. And if you enjoy these deep dives into how your mind actually works beyond the comforting myths, make sure to like this video, leave a comment, and share it with someone who's ever said, "I swear I used to remember this." Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever forgotten something important and felt annoyed with yourself for it? A name, a date, a fact you knew. We tend to treat forgetting as a failure, a flaw, a bug in the system. But what if forgetting isn't a bug at all? What if it's a feature? In fact, what if your brain is actively deleting information on purpose right now without asking you? To understand this, we need to abandon one of the most persistent myths about memory, the myth that your brain is a storage device. It isn't. Your brain is not a hard drive. It doesn't store perfect copies of experiences. It doesn't keep everything just in case. If it did, you'd be overwhelmed. Instead, your brain is a prediction engine. Its job is not to remember the past. Its job is to help you survive the future. And that changes everything. Let's start with a simple observation. You don't remember most of your life. Think about it. You've been alive for thousands, maybe tens of thousands of days, each one filled with sights, sounds, thoughts, and emotions. And yet you remember what? A few thousand moments? Maybe fewer. This isn't because your brain ran out of space. It's because remembering everything would be disastrous. In the late 19th century, psychologists documented rare individuals with hyperthymesia, people who can remember nearly every day of their lives in extreme detail. At first, this sounds like a superpower, until you learn what it's actually like. These individuals don't access memories, they are flooded by them. A random date triggers an avalanche of unwanted detail. Emotional pain doesn't fade. Old embarrassments never soften. Trauma remains sharp. Forgetting, it turns out, is mercy, but it's also strategy. Modern neuroscience shows that memory is not a passive recording process. Every time you remember something, you reconstruct it, and every time you reconstruct it, you change it. Which means memory is unstable by design, and that instability allows something remarkable: deletion. Let's talk about synapses. Your brain contains roughly 86 billion neurons. Each neuron connects to thousands of others through synapses. These connections strengthen or weaken depending on use. If a pathway is used often, it's reinforced. If it's not, it degrades. This is called synaptic pruning, and it's not a childhood-only process. Your brain is constantly pruning connections, cutting away unused information to free resources for what matters now. Which means when you forget something, it's not always because your memory failed. It's often because your brain decided it was no longer useful. Here's the unsettling part. Your brain doesn't decide usefulness based on truth. It decides based on relevance. If a memory doesn't help predict, plan, or respond to your environment, it gets downgraded, eventually erased. This is why you forget phone numbers you don't dial anymore, or details from subjects you no longer use, or names of people who've left your life. Not because you're careless, but because your brain is efficient. Now let's go deeper. There's a phenomenon called retrieval-induced forgetting. It works like this. When you recall one memory, related memories become temporarily suppressed. Why? Because they compete. Your brain wants clarity, not clutter. So by strengthening one pathway, it actively weakens others. Remembering one thing causes you to forget another, on purpose. This is why eyewitness testimony is unreliable. Each retelling reshapes the memory. Each focus suppresses alternatives. Over time, the memory becomes cleaner and less accurate, but more confident, which is terrifying. Now think about how often you recall certain narratives about yourself. I'm bad at math. I always mess this up. This is just how I am. Each time you repeat these, you strengthen one story and erase others. Moments that contradict the narrative fade. Your brain deletes evidence against the model it's building. Because again, your brain isn't trying to be correct, it's trying to be coherent. And coherence requires forgetting. This becomes even more extreme when emotion is involved. The amygdala, the brain's threat detection system, tags memories with emotional weight. Highly emotional experiences are more likely to be remembered. But here's the twist. They're also more likely to distort other memories. Under stress, your brain prioritizes survival-relevant information and discards detail. That's why traumatic memories feel vivid but fragmented, and why neutral details around them vanish. Your brain isn't preserving the event, it's preserving the lesson. Danger happened. The rest is negotiable. Now consider sleep. You probably think sleep helps you remember, and it does, but it also helps you forget. During sleep, especially deep sleep, your brain replays patterns from the day. Some are strengthened, others are weakened or erased. This process is called memory consolidation, but it's selective. Your brain doesn't replay everything. It prioritizes novelty, relevance, and emotional salience, which means sleep is not just storage optimization, it's a deletion algorithm. If something didn't make the cut by morning, it's gone. This is why pulling all-nighters is so destructive. You're not just tired, you're preventing your brain from deciding what to keep and what to erase. You wake up with noise instead of signal. Now let's talk about something uncomfortable, your sense of self. You feel like a continuous person, the same you across time. But neurologically, that continuity depends on selective forgetting. If you remembered every version of yourself equally well, identity would fragment. You'd be paralyzed by conflicting goals, values, and memories. Forgetting allows reinvention. It lets you say, that was then, this is now. Without forgetting, growth would be impossible, which means your brain deletes parts of your past to protect your present. And this deletion isn't malicious, efficient. Now here's where technology enters the picture. External memory, phones, photos, cloud storage, changes how your brain decides what to forget. When you know something is stored externally, your brain is less likely to retain it internally. This is called the Google effect. You remember where to find information, not the information itself. Which sounds fine, until you realize this shifts cognitive load outward and dependency inward. Your brain adapts by deleting internal representations. Why store it if the phone remembers? This isn't inherently bad, but it does mean your mind is being reshaped by the assumption of permanent external memory. And that assumption is dangerous, because external memory can vanish. Accounts deleted, photos lost, platforms shut down. And when that happens, you may realize your brain already let go, because it trusted the system. Now, zoom out. Forgetting isn't just personal, it's cultural. Societies forget inconvenient histories. Institutions forget past mistakes. Narratives overwrite nuance. This isn't accidental. Collective forgetting stabilizes systems. Too much memory leads to resentment. Too much history prevents cooperation. Selective amnesia enables continuity, but it also enables repetition. which is why understanding forgetting matters. Because once you realize forgetting is active, intentional, and necessary, you stop treating it like failure and start asking better questions. What is my brain choosing to remember? What is it choosing to erase? And why? Because memory is power, but forgetting is control. And your brain is exercising that control constantly, quietly shaping your reality. So the next time you forget something and feel frustrated, remember this: your brain didn't malfunction, it made a decision. The question is whether that decision still serves you. If this changed how you think about memory, identity, or even yourself, take a moment to like the video, share it, and leave a comment. Because sometimes